On November 28th, Jeff Keighley posted this picture of some kind of statue. It features orcs, medieval armors, and creatures all throughout, the full statue even lighting up in red. Almost immediately, fans started to draw connections between this statue and the Elder Scrolls. Could this finally be it? Could a new teaser for the Elder Scrolls 6 be coming at the Game Awards, just like what they did with Skyrim? No, it's not coming. The literal top gaming industry insider, Jason Schreier, confirmed this isn't the Elder Scrolls 6, but apparently it's still something cool. Except some in the Elder Scrolls community are convinced he's lying, and that Bethesda is posting even further teasers around the Elder Scrolls 6 on other social platforms, because yeah, this statue saga has been a road of highs and lows as the Elder Scrolls community is currently losing its mind. So if you somehow haven't seen or been following this statue, if you do have a life beyond social media, basically Jeff Keighley posted this picture of a statue a couple of weeks ago now. This likely is teasing a new game reveal that'll happen at the Game Awards on December 11th. This is Jeff Keighley's own show and he hosts it. But somehow, despite the internet's vast knowledge, nobody has identified which game this is. But as fans started visiting the statue in person and even more images and videos have come out, people began to realize this looks a lot like the Elder Scrolls. I mean, sure, it looks like other games also, but like this armor, it looks elven. Most fans can recognize that one pretty easily. And this orc could be from the Elder Scrolls. Neither Diablo nor Doom have orcs, so that definitely makes things stand out. And hey, even this crocodile looks a lot like a Daedroth. The opposable fingers on the hand in particular feel like a really big identifier. But where things really started to pick up is when somebody found this Vermina statue from the Elder Scrolls Online. This is something already in game, and even some of the other items from this set are incredibly similar to this identified statue. Vermina is the Daedric Prince of Nightmares, and often shown with a serpent of some kind. So this Game Award statue not only closely resembles the overall design of the Vermina statue from ESO, but it also has a serpent flowing throughout it, just like Vermina often does. And at this point, people were very convinced that this could finally be something related to the Elder Scrolls 6. And due to some of the other recent quotes from Todd Howard, there was even a subset of the community that were hoping for a 2025 shadow drop. Okay, so the Elder Scrolls 6 shadow dropping in 2025 does sound pretty batshit, but there was a genuine reason for this wild speculation. At this point, a bunch of people in the community thought the Elder Scrolls 6 just had a 3-hour hands-on play session. You know, those things that typically happen just before release for influencers and media. Remember when Bethesda was auctioning off an Elder Scrolls 6 character? Basically an auction for Make-A-Wish, and the top bidder can create one character in the Elder Scrolls 6. Well, a group of fans was bidding on this to try to make Lorana. Lorana ran forum-based roleplays in the mid-2000s for the Elder Scrolls, and this became an area where Bethesda would tease new concepts they'd explore in later games. And even some of the events of this roleplay ended up becoming in-game events via lorebooks. The real-world user behind Lorana that was doing all of this passed away a couple of years ago, so even despite losing this auction, the unofficial Elder Scrolls pages, that wiki, organized a group to donate independently to Bethesda, matching the public donation amount to get Lorana created in-game, and thankfully this was all a success. That's really cool, and I wanted to highlight it, but how it relates here is this most recent Todd Howard interview with GQ. Because, yeah, as you're probably starting to connect the dots, people thought this group of donors just got to play the Elder Scrolls 6. Todd Howard mentions doing a big Elder Scrolls 6 playtest yesterday, and how he also had this meeting with the Make-A-Wish donors. The way it's worded, it sounds like the donors played 3 hours of the Elder Scrolls 6, but they didn't. There was no hands-on, but people didn't realize that, so they thought there was just an Elder Scrolls 6 hands-on, and a shadow drop could be coming, all thanks to this recent statue. That's a pretty important factor as to why things were getting so crazy at this point. There were fan theories about the opening of the game, all based around this statue and how it would tie into some of the lore. These are posts with hundreds of upvotes and people were believing them. And as we get further confirmation from insiders that the statue wasn't any of the other games, most notably Diablo, and nobody could identify anything else, the speculation turned even further to Elder Scrolls, many identifying other aspects that could tie to the next game. If the Elder Scrolls 6 is in High Rock and Hammerfell, it makes sense that this is in a desert setting, just like Hammerfell is going to be a very desert setting. And even some of the region-appropriate gods might be represented within the statue itself. At this point, many were legitimately convinced the Elder Scrolls 6 was coming, but then he really came instead. It's just a bit over a day after being heralded by the Elder Scrolls community for confirming the statue wasn't Diablo related, Jason Schreier took to ResetEra to say, "I'll do this one more time because people are getting out of control," aka the Elder Scrolls community. "No, the statue isn't teasing Elder Scrolls 6. Now I'm going to stop responding about this unless somebody finds me at the JW bar next week and asks really nicely. Then maybe I'll answer, depending on how many drinks I've had." And like, yeah, sure, it's just some guy saying something, but Jason Schreier is about as definitive as you can get. He is the single best source in the gaming industry and has been doing this for over a decade. He leaked Fallout 4 in 2013. But at this stage, something really interesting happened. While much of the community did accept this at face value, that, okay, this statue isn't the Elder Scrolls 6, and they finally freed their brains to think about the next thing, many people didn't do that, and quickly, posts started to arise calling Jason Schreier a liar and pushing back against some of his claims. Many leaning even further into all of this being a potential teaser for the Elder Scrolls 6, and yet again, there is a reason for that. Something I didn't tell you is, right as this Jason Schreier post was starting to get a lot of traction, we also just got an interesting post on Facebook. The official Bethesda page, for Italy, posted this video, with the caption of "what's going on over there," although written in Italian. And while many would think this is just a simple marketing video pointing towards the burned city of Kvatch, the first city you really go to in Oblivion during the questline, and even this gameplay is filmed in Oblivion Remastered, if you do possess the higher thinking capabilities that some on Reddit do, you would realize that no, this is actually looking off into the distance at Hammerfell, as yes, this is yet another teaser for the Elder Scrolls 6, really focusing this time on its location. Although I guess this past one was also with all of the clues and hints around Hammerfell or even some of the gods there. And of course, with there now being two separate teasers for the Elder Scrolls 6, Jason Schreier must be wrong. And there are even trademark filings that were popping up around the same time that could only mean something is coming. There's really not a valid explanation otherwise. And as exciting, as cool as all of this would be, there's just one issue with this second teaser. After much debate within the Elder Scrolls 6 subreddit itself, fans eventually concluded that in reality, this teaser is pointing towards Valenwood, not Hammerfell. And in the days since, the hype around a potential Elder Scrolls 6 Valenwood has significantly risen on this subreddit, as things have genuinely been in turmoil over there. While this video was largely made to highlight some of the silliness and some of the fun speculation that's been going on, initially I was actually making this video before Jason Schreier said anything about whether or not this statue really could be the Elder Scrolls 6, but then in the days since, just witnessing whatever all of this has been inspired me to continue working on this video with perhaps a bit of a different tone, but as of right now, that's really where things stand. A lot of this is filled with memes and people really just along for this very enjoyable ride. If you aren't following the Elder Scrolls 6 subreddit, I highly encourage you to check it out. There's a lot of great content being posted there right now. But there is also a subset of users that genuinely believe this is teasing the Elder Scrolls 6 and don't believe Jason Schreier. And with how close some of these things resemble one another, and with some of the insiders being wrong about all of this already, I do understand how some people ended up there. Although, yeah, that definitely is pretty crazy. Some of this looks like the Elder Scrolls, but in reality, it's likely something different. The crazy part being, even as additional clues have come out, on December 5th, we get another tweet with "the blank are silent, blank bleeds, new blank stir," but people still really haven't figured out what all of this is. Lords of the Fallen 2 was another widely speculated on option, but the devs of that game have just come forward confirming it's not them. The main choices left being Divinity Original Sin 3 from Larian, or who knows, something new entirely. There were those rumors around a Witcher 3 expansion. This could be a really epic way to tease that, but this really doesn't look like The Witcher, and CDPR already said they weren't going to be at the Game Awards with any new trailers or things like that.
With saying that shit to me, think again, fucker. As we